Morning, guys. So I've kind of darkened some of the other tones. I've added in the plants. I've got to do some more work up on the rafters stuff. I'm going to make the rafters match the shelf so that it kind of, again, leads the eye around. And I've got to darken some areas up here so that, again, your eye's moving constantly through the piece. And I will have to add in the border. I don't know what I'm going to do that in yet. Also, I think she's going to get inked. Yeah, she'll be inked as well. So there's that I've been working on. I kind of want to talk to you guys about, markers versus watercolor, the benefits and downfalls of both. Okay, so here's my marker collection. Very small amount of Copics. Some of these are like 15 years old to a few years old. I like the Chow. They're small. They're affordable. They're really great. They're affordable. I love Copic for their skin tones and their gray tones. I also love Prismacolor for the same thing. But Prismacolor are getting quite a bit expensive now. So I stopped buying markers. These are called Touch. I got them when I was in school. And it was like a little birthday present to me. They've got the chisel tip and the fine point tip. Yeah, so as you can see, I do have some markers. I do use them, or at least I did. I was taking them to conventions and stuff with me, but then I realized that the more I use them, the more they run out, and I found out I picked up some of my old marker illustrations. I found them in a portfolio, and all of the pigments had skewed. The blues had turned into browns and bright pinks, and I don't know what chemical reaction had happened, but it had skewed the illustrations. These pieces were no longer good, and they were no longer like usable pieces because they had been pretty much destroyed. Anybody who's gotten an illustration from me that was marker, I just lost a paintbrush, now I feel really bad because the illustration's going to be skewed, and I know it will be because most people don't realize that you need to put things in UV protective glass. Not to mention the air was the thing that actually skewed this, because I know a lot of them didn't see sunlight. So, know your mediums. This is the last marker illustration I did, and I was just doing it to screw around, and I liked the techniques I got out of it, but I probably won't do more marker work. Like, even the tones in her hair, she did used to have darker tones in her hair, and I know those have faded, and like, there are things on here that are in the print that are no longer in the illustration because they're fading out. And this is only a year and a bit old. So even in a year, there's already things starting to skew on this. If you want to create professional work, marker's not the way to go. And I know there are artists that do beautiful marker work, and if you make prints out of that, that's wonderful. But if you are looking to sell original marker pieces, that's not a good investment for anybody because it's going to skew and it's going to mutate. Like, maybe using the marker paper will help preserve them, but I don't know by how much. So yeah. These are just random portraits and shit I've done. But your best bet to get good quality, light, fast work, and a simple, easy travel thing is to use water-based media. Now, when I used to do conventions, my first year, I brought my markers. I brought a great big bag of my markers. I had a lot of my colors in it, for making like really cool illustrations, and I was at the convention I think for 3 days, and my friend was using them and I was using them. We were both doing commissions, and half of my markers were dead by the end of that convention. That's a lot of money to lose, okay? Like, a huge amount of money to lose. in just a couple of days' time. Not to mention, if I would have misplaced that bag, I would have lost at least $300 worth of art equipment. That's a hit. But then I started taking these little watercolor palettes. This is the smallest one I have. But this is $10. If I lose this, I'll be pissed. But I'm not going to be devastated by losing $300 worth of equipment. So, not to mention, anybody who gets an illustration done with watercolor, it's going to last. If they keep it out of direct sunlight, it's going to stay beautiful for years. There are illustrations, watercolor illustrations, like back from, like, however long ago, like the great masters have done, that are still beautiful and vibrant. So know your mediums and know the quality of the work that you're going to be putting out. So this is a pre-made set, so it's got its pre-decided colors that I bought with it. But if you want, you've got your own color choices, you can buy one of these palettes. This is $4, maybe $5 now, palette. It's got, hold on, I don't want it to explode. It's got your mixing areas. It's got all these places to put your pigments. This is my old gouache palette from school, so it's a little bit messy, but it's got all these great areas for it. It's got the thumb hole so you can hold it. It's got little areas for your brushes. I never use those. I did use this though. This thumb thing is great, but you can, or you can hold it like that, which is awkward as fuck for me. But you can take this with you anywhere. You just put your tubes in, you let them dry, because if you close it, they'll kind of go everywhere. You just put in your colors, set it out overnight, let it dry, and then now you've got a personalized palette for your illustrations and travel needs, and it folds right up, and it's like, it's less than it's about my finger width. Right? Like, that's pretty amazing. That'll just be thrown right in a bag. Like, this is a great kit. Then I've got my metal one that I got off of AliExpress for $10. If you buy these off of not off of AliExpress, but you buy them like from a store, they're gonna be like $40. But this is great because it folds in and then folds out. I got lots of mixing space. This kind of protects the pigment. Like, you don't have to worry that if it falls, the pigments are going to go everywhere. The little pans cost me about $10. 10 for 24 off of eBay. And I'm able to choose my colors that are going in here. Again, your tubes of watercolor, yeah, they're about $5 a tube. But if you like invest in a few of them, they're gonna last you years. This is my newer set, but this set I've had for 10 years, and the pigment, all I gotta do is add water to it and it's still good to go. You gotta look at the quality of what you're buying. And water-based media, yeah, it's a little bit more difficult. You do need a little bit thicker paper, but marker will go through your sketchbook page. With this stuff, you just throw it down, do some quick washes. Yeah, it'll warp a bit, but you can still use the other page without it bleeding through. Depending on the quality of paper you use. You do want a little bit thicker paper, but still, like, you're gonna get better quality illustrations out of using watercolors and like gouache than you are gonna be using with marker. Like, than you are gonna get out of marker, sorry. But like, markers are great. Like, you have a couple of tonal marker, like some grays, or maybe a couple of varieties of blue or something, whatever your favorite kind of tones are. Then you can like throw some tones down in your sketchbook and do like a little mini illustration. That's fine. But if you're going to be selling the work, do you really want the quality of your work to fade over the next few years so that the person's like, yeah, I don't know what happened, the drawing just faded, and then you feel bad because you gave them something that wasn't light fast? Like, yes, even in direct sunlight, the watercolors will fade and everything, but their color range is not going to skew with air. The dyes and pigments they use in marker will skew. So I just want you guys to be aware of what can happen with marker. Yes, markers are great, but they're expensive. They dry out. The tips the tips go everywhere. They fray and then they get really gross and then they dry out on the ends. Watercolor doesn't. Watercolors and like gouache and wet media will last you for literally years, your lifetime, if you don't use it enough. But like, you're also going to be creating better work with it and better quality work with it. So I just wanted to give you guys that heads up. Now, again, there are some downfalls to watercolor. You got to let it dry. You know, you can carry around a little cup with you, but they also have these wonderful things. The refillable water pens. Like, these are great if you're just doing a little bit of traveling. And one of them's leaked, but they're cheaper quality, so whatever. But like, you're doing some traveling, you just want to like do some quick stuff. These are great to have at conventions if you don't want to bring a container. I use a thermos, as I can throw a lid on this and tighten it up so it doesn't leak everywhere in my bag. And I know I've got water with me and I don't got to go search for a bathroom and leave all my shit alone if I'm not with somebody at the table. Anyways, I just wanted to give you guys a heads up and like do a little bit of a comparison on that kind of thing. I know there are people who are going to be like, markers are the best, and other people are going to be like, no, watercolor. I'm generally on the watercolor side of things, just because if I'm going to a convention, I'd rather lose a $10 palette than a $300 bag of markers. Anyway, let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys like to use. If you have any questions on this video or suggestions for other videos, please let me know in the comments below. Thank you very much for watching this video. Sorry it took so long. I will talk to you guys later. Bye.